CreditUturn coming to you live today on the Friday the 13th edition of our 20th episode of our CreditUturn live stream series. So just going to kind of riff here for just a moment until somebody chimes in and says they're able to see me just fine. So again, today is March 13th. Friday the 13th has been a crazy week out there on our planet. Everything from coronavirus outbreak to sports venues shutting down, arenas shutting down. I think Trump is doing an address today at 3 p.m. So got some crazy things going on. I think you add in that there was a full moon this week, and now we got Friday the 13th, and it's just been kind of a crazy start to 2020. Thought that we left 2019 in the rearview mirror, but for some reason or another, it's popped up back up on us again. On that note, I'm not for sure why the COVID or COVID-19 is called COVID-19 instead of COVID-20 for the 2020 outbreak. I'm not for sure about that, but anyway, I just wanted to live stream today with everyone again. So yesterday we did something really unique where we did a live stream directly to our partners and prospective partners, as well as to our customers and prospective mobile app users. And today I'd like to do the same thing again. Before we get started though, I would really appreciate it if someone would drop a link in the chat just in case somebody's looking at us and doesn't know anything about CreditUturn yet and wants to learn more. So if you would drop a link to CreditUturn.com. And it would also be great, since today is also a partner series, if you would also drop a link to a special promotion that we're running today for any prospective partner. So if you're owner or manager of any automotive or similar type of industry or real estate, mortgage, banking, that sort of thing, I want you to check out 180daysonus.com. So that is 180days, D-A-Y-S, onus.com. So 180daysonus.com. And what that is, that's an invitation to any prospective partner to be able to utilize our services, recommend us. We provide you with a white label webpage that you can drive traffic to so that you can become a CreditUturn partner and demonstrate to everybody within your marketplace that you actively understand their needs and that you have a solution for them that does not cost them any credit repair fees and automates their journey to better credit and gives them daily useful credit tips as well, and that can instantly alert you whenever your referral's credit improves, assuming that they have given you permission to do that, and which most do. And then because it's in their best interest also that whenever their scores go up, they want to be notified of any special offers. But you need to check that out because that is 6 months of service on us. No strings attached. There's no early termination penalties, no cancellation fees. If you decide to stay on with us, we're not billing you for 6 months of previous service. So we're giving you 6 months to check us out, and that's unheard of in any industry. Most industries, you're lucky if you get a 7-day or 14-day trial, at best a 30-day trial, and we're just completely blowing all that out of the water, just like we're changing the game for consumers whenever it comes to disputing or repairing their credit. We're also changing the game whenever it comes to vendors. So today's topic is a near and dear one to most people, and this is our most frequently asked question, most popular question, hands down. Our topic today is credit agency mail shock and what to do with it. And I'm not talking about male, female. I'm talking about the sheer volume of mail that starts hitting you whenever some service or somebody or you start disputing things on your credit. What happens next? Because there is a massive amount of mail that you get, and you need to know what to do with it. And so again, everybody just says, what do I do with all this mail, Lee? And I've heard that for 30 years. Remember, I'm the guy that I'm a consumer advocate, so I've always gone the extra mile to help out everybody regardless of their background, regardless of their situation, and regardless whether I was in the automotive or mortgage industries or I was on the other side of the fence and was actually lending money. So with that being said, I want to describe to you the types of mail that you get and what you're receiving. So one of the first things, obviously, is that whenever you're utilizing our service or any service, even though you're subscribing to a consumer credit report, your credit monitoring, which is 3-bureau credit monitoring, you're still going to receive credit reports from the credit agencies. It will not include your credit scores, but they are going to send you your credit files, your credit records. Sometimes they're abbreviated, sometimes they're super detailed. I've seen some here recently that showed like hard inquiries, soft inquiries, another different type of inquiry, a marketing inquiry, and there was also like a research or tracking inquiry. It was kind of crazy. And then on top of it, it was like every employer you've ever had since you were the age of 13 or something. It was every address you've ever had, every phone number you've ever had. And within there can be like all kinds of errors. There might be information that doesn't even apply to you that's from somebody else because it happens that way. You need to remember that your credit reports are not a 100% exact match. It is a majority match situation. In fact, I've even seen recently, and I thought that this had gone away, but where if an auto dealer, just as a for instance, or it could be a mortgage company also, didn't know your exact social security number, they could actually put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for your social plus the rest of your information, and voila, they got your credit file. So I thought that had been done away with, but I'm pretty sure that I saw that about 2 or 3 months ago. So you just need to keep in mind that it's not always an exact match, but you're going to get credit reports. That's first. Second of all, and not necessarily in this order, but just another thing that you'll get is that you'll get requests from the credit agencies that state that you either have IDs that are missing, they need another form of identification, or your identification that you gave them is illegible and they're requesting more information. Sometimes that's legit, okay? But most oftentimes I've seen the illegible thing. And you look at the IDs and they're like a full page, blown up, full color, sharp, crisp, clear images, and there's no way that something was illegible. But again, it's a stall tactic, and you need to understand that the majority of this email that you're getting has a purpose and intent, and that is either to stall, to get you to stop disputing, or to send you down the path that they want you to take and not the path that you're currently on. It's just the same as the, hey, look over here, don't look over there thing. So you need to understand that they have their reasons for doing things. So again, you're going to get credit reports. You're going to get a massive amount of credit reports. You're occasionally going to get the missing or illegible ID thing. You're going to receive mail from them requesting more information from you because your dispute was not specific enough. You're also going to get the same type of request from creditors as well. So the difference, in case you're not a credit person, I understand that, not a big deal. We just want you to know that a credit agency are the companies, the massive corporations that are purchasing and or retaining your personal private data, and they're cataloging all that so that that can be part of a credit file that's retained about you, that's all of your information that they can then supply in a milliseconds. FICO or VantageScore can produce a credit score that assigns a risk level to you. A creditor, on the other hand, is somebody that you have obtained credit through at some point in time in the past, and also can extend to you being a collection company or a hospital, because they are still technically a creditor. So you need to be aware of that. Or at least that's the category that I'm just lumping them in for the purpose of this. If I've got an attorney out there that's watching this or something, says, wait a second, a hospital's not a creditor. Yeah, if you pay them money, in my eyes, they're a creditor. If it's a collection company, they're a creditor because you're paying them money. So anyway, let's not get lost on semantics. The next type of mail that you might get are forms that they want you to complete, and this is where they take you down the path of, hey, we don't like the path that you're currently taking. We don't like getting the mail that you're sending us. We don't like getting the electronic disputes. We don't like anything that you've been doing so far, and we're requesting that you fill out this form, that you write this 500-word essay about what's wrong and give us more specific information. And here's the reason that you don't want to do that, or a couple of reasons you don't want to do that, is why on earth would you tell them, when the law does not state that you need to give them specific information, why would you tell them something so specific that instead of deleting the negative information, what if they just took what you gave them and they fixed it? But now it's still negative, but all that they did is they just got an excuse to just fix something, and you raised your hand and said, yep, that's mine, and I know all about it, and here's the nitty-gritty dirty details on it. Instead of that, use the law. The law says that you have a right to have 100% accurate. Okay, so let's say that they fixed it and made it accurate. Great. But it also says that it also must be 100% complete. Is that entire credit account and credit trade line and everything 100% complete? I don't know. And it must be 100% verifiable, okay? Meaning that they have to be able to obtain the records, be able to fully authenticate the accuracy, completeness, and verifiability of the information about that account, and also that its attachment to you, okay? And they also have to prove that it's not already of age, or that it's obsolete, or it has obsolescence and shouldn't be on your credit file anyway. So instead of you following down the path that they want you to take, ignore those forms. The same thing if you get an email. Equifax is notorious for after you send a dispute to them, they send you an email. I don't even recommend that you even click the email to open it, because all they're doing is it's a standard template, canned response, telling you to click here, go online, fill out some information, give them all the nitty-gritty dirty details. Nitty-gritty dirty details. So that sounds even worse. So anyway, they want you to do that, and then they want you to click submit. And then if you do that electronically, you also have to agree to their terms and conditions in order to do that. And if you read their terms and conditions, you are giving up your right to sue them and agreeing that if there is still anything that needs to be resolved afterward, that you agree to go through arbitration. And instead of you getting stuck only in arbitration, you should retain your right to be able to sue them if necessary. And I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. So again, let's just recap. They're sending you credit reports. They're requesting better identification or more identification. Now, the better or more identification could also be that you didn't do something right. Instead of taking a selfie and sending in a picture of you, send in a picture of a government ID. And then furthermore, if you're going to send them a government ID, make sure that it matches the address that you put on the letters. So if you have moved to 123 Main Street, but your address on your driver's license still says, 1040 IRS Lane, then that's not the address that you want to send them. You want to make sure that you send them an ID and a government identification that has your current address on it, because if you don't, you've got old accounts in your credit report that are associated with 1040 IRS Lane, I think that's what I just said, then you're going to have a more difficult time getting that information either fixed or removed from your credit files. So remember, credit reports, missing eligible ID request, they're going to ask you for more info, or saying that your disputes weren't specific enough. Again, you have the right not to be specific. They're going to send you forms that they want you to complete, potentially emails they want you to click through and complete. And it all amounts to stall tactics. It all amounts to stall tactics. And sometimes they'll also, along with their stall tactics, they'll tell you that we've extended your investigation and these are the expected completion dates. Okay? So that's the type of mail that you get, and you get it frequently, and there's a lot of it, especially whenever you first began, and especially through our service, because most, like a third-party credit repair company, or if you were doing it on your own, you're not requesting free report oftentimes. You're not freezing or suppressing secondary credit agencies. So our system also sends out a suppression or a freeze request, not on Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion, but on sub-agencies like companies like LexisNexis, SageStream, CoreLogic, Innovis, and the list goes on. So there are 5 or 6 companies that we freeze or suppress or request. It's up to you for you to approve that letter. If you approve that letter, that suppression request is going out there. And with them, they'll often come back with a form letter or a form saying that we don't freeze, or we're not a credit agency. By the way, that's BS. They're credit agencies. They're identified as credit agencies. The FDCPA, or not FDCPA, the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, will certainly agree that they fall underneath of the guidelines that the Fair Credit Reporting Act says they must abide by. And if you're underneath of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you are considered to be a credit agency. So they'll send you out those letters saying that we're not a credit agency, or you need to complete this form, we didn't get the right form, or your IDs were missing, or we need updated IDs, or they were illegible, or whatever it is. Just stay the course. Don't get sucked into their games. So here's what you need to do with the mail, okay? Because that's the question. So, but before I answer that question, I had to tell you what it is that you're receiving. So you're going to get some bizarre results, okay? Those results are, or sorry about that, here's another thing that you might receive are bizarre results saying that they removed an account, and you look at it and you're like, that's the wrong account, bozos. I didn't even dispute that account. It happens. As long as it's a good account, it'll end up coming back on your credit report. Don't sweat that. It'll reappear on your credit file. It's a little temporary, minor setback. Don't sweat that detail. But it's not something the software did. It's not something that you did. It's just sometimes they're bozos. And sometimes it could just be because their computer did something wrong, or somebody fat-fingered because there are codes. There's 2-digit codes that the people use that work for Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, or that process their disputes, that are outsourced third-party companies like ACS, Xerox, or overseas, like call centers and stuff that aren't technically a call center, but they're a mail processing center. They fat finger code, and because of that, you'll temporarily have something removed that shouldn't have been removed. It can go the other way, though, too, where you might not have should have had a negative item deleted. Maybe it was a prime candidate for them just to fix something, but instead they deleted it for you. So it can swing both ways. So just know that those are some of the bizarre results. Also, they might say that the account's been verified as yours. The letters that go out from the software, and hopefully any letters that you had sent in the past yourself, you didn't say this account's not mine. Our letters, the letters that are programmed in the software for you that you can generate and you have control of, don't say this account's not mine. And because of that, you're not disputing whether the account was yours. So for them to come back and say it's been verified as yours and accurate, or just verified as yours, is insufficient on their part, because all that you said is that you feel that something's not 100% accurate, 100% complete, and 100% verifiable, and anything less than all three of those things combined, you're requesting that they fix it or delete it. So being verified as yours is just a BS stall tactic. They might also say that they've only updated the dates on an account, or they might say that you must contact the creditor. Okay, so I had somebody reach out to me a few days ago that said that, hey, student loans got disputed, and Experian sent back this bizarre piece of mail that listed all the student loans that were disputed and said it's your responsibility for you to contact the creditor and dispute directly with the creditor. And that's not true. The Fair Credit Reporting Act says that they must investigate, and in fact, I know that Experian actually had to pay out over $2 million to a gentleman in Alabama because Experian declined their obligation and turned down and said, we're not going to investigate, and sent back a letter saying that we're not investigating. And so I'm going to tell you what to do in that instance here in just a moment. So again, if you ever receive that piece of mail, you're still going to hang on to it. Just don't respond. And by the way, you have the right to do anything that you want to do. I'm going to give you some tips that you might want to listen to, that you should follow, that I have, learned through trial and error and through experience for 30 years, okay? Now you can take me at face value and say that sounds legit and that's exactly what I'm going to do, or I'm going to go do it my way. Just know that it's okay if you go do that and you want to go the trial and error route, that's fine. But it can have an impact on your credit files that's irreversible, okay? I'll cover that here in a moment. So another type of bizarre result that they might send you back is saying that they've inserted a fraud alert in your file that you requested. You don't request a fraud alert. Nobody's requesting a fraud alert. In fact, none of the letters even claim that you're a victim of identity theft, because I don't have any way of knowing that you've been a victim of identity theft on your accounts or any account of yours. So the letters don't say that. That's just a bizarre response and bizarre result that they give, and don't sweat that. Again, if they have two different types of alerts, they could do a 1-year alert. That's the most frequent, most common. It's very, very rare for them to put a 7-year fraud alert in your file, and typically that only comes directly at your request. Could they still make that mistake and do that? Sure, because the world's not a perfect world, as we've evidenced this week. So just know that can just be a bizarre result. If there's a fraud alert, it's not impacting your credit score. It's just calling attention to your credit, and if you go apply for credit, it's just saying that, hey, you might want to double check identification, you might want to have some security questions answered before you extend credit, and that's normal and that's natural, and in some ways it can be a good thing. So don't sweat that if you get a fraud alert that's put in your credit file. Another thing is they might say that the dispute has been resolved when it hasn't been resolved, such as they might come back and say that it's been verified as yours, you redispute through the software or on your own, and then they come back with another letter that says that it's been reviewed, it's as accurate, and that the dispute's resolved, and they add that language on your file, and that's not the case. So again, just kind of ignore that stuff. It's a stall tactic. Some of it's designed to get a reaction from you because they're trying to flush out whether or not you're doing this on your own or if you're using a paid representative. By the way, you're not paying me for credit repair at all. This is a service that we provide to you that you're in control of, so it's still you doing the work, but we just power this more for you so that you get better education, tips, and automation that come along with this, and just makes your life a lot simpler. So they're trying to flush that out because they can't stand credit repair companies. And remember, CreditUturn is not a credit repair company. We're just a software as a service company that's providing you with this powerful tool. So they hate getting disputes. They can't stand it. It's really cumbersome, but it's a profit center for them. And that's the other hidden part of it. For them to hate it as much as they hate it, they make money when you dispute things. We can cover that in just another topic or in another live stream. So here's what you need to do, okay? What do I do with all this mail, Lee? It's great that you've told me what type of mail I'm receiving. You're telling me the bizarre results. You're telling me they're stall tactics and forms to complete. So what can I do? Get a box. Get a filing system. Get 3 boxes. Get 8 or 9 boxes. Whatever you need to do, because I'm going to tell you, it doesn't matter whether you really read those letters or not. It's up to you if you want to read them, okay? And there's nothing wrong with you reading them. I'm not telling you not to, because if you do, it's a rabbit hole, okay? It's a rabbit hole. It can just make you worrisome. It can make you nervous. It can freak you out. You're just seeing crazy things from them occasionally. Sometimes you're seeing responses that are positive that say deleted, 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 deleted. Had a client here recently that reached out to us that had 26 of 27 things on their Equifax report that were negative items that were all just magically erased from their credit file about 4 or 5 months into the process. They had been getting a few little results along the way, but nothing massive like that, and then all of a sudden just boom, gone. But no matter what, get a box, create a filing system, and on the front of each envelope, okay, and this is what you need to listen to. On the front of each envelope, you need to write the name of the company that sent the mail to you, because the name is not in the little window section. And the little window section that shows the return to sender address is just showing the P.O. box for Equifax or Experian or TransUnion. So write the name of the company. So like jot down Equifax, jot down the date of the response that's on the front of their letter. So if it says that the response was from March 8th, write that down, March 8, 2020, and then put in just a basic little short note. It doesn't have to be super long and detailed. And where I'm going at is you're just basically writing a note so that you can find something easily if you need to. You could just put nothing deleted. You could put Capital One deleted. You could put 13 medical collections deleted. You could put whatever you want to on there. You could also put like requesting new identification, or said identification was illegible, or said we're no longer investigating, or said that you need to contact the creditors, okay? That type of thing. Or if you see something about an account that let's say it's a bankruptcy, and let's say that the bankruptcy court's moved and they're no longer in that area, they're not in that same city, they moved to a different city or a different address, or potentially even changed their phone number, and that's actually a Kentucky thing. So the Eastern District Bankruptcy Court of Kentucky used to be in Pikeville, Kentucky, and now it's in Lexington, Kentucky, and it's been that way for a couple decades at least, and maybe even 3 decades. And for some reason or another, the credit agencies still have the wrong info on there. So basically, the bankruptcy information is incomplete, it's inaccurate, and it's technically unverifiable at that address and at the phone number that they present. So anyway, so just jot those notes on there, and here's why, okay? Because at some point in time, as long as you followed my advice and you didn't click through and you didn't fill out something online, you didn't waive your right to file suit, and you didn't send them back a form in the mail that they were requesting, and you just let either the software do its thing or you just ignored that, even if you're doing it on your own, you haven't given up your rights to sue them underneath of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, or sometimes potentially underneath of the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act or other credit laws. But with that information, at some point in time, once you've given them enough time to be able to act on something and to do the right thing, and you actually know without a doubt that something's not accurate, complete, or verifiable, one of those 3 things, and you also know that, or that they violated a law by saying that it's your responsibility to contact their creditor to dispute that student loan, or it's your responsibility to contact the creditor because inquiries are a matter of, they're just factual record. By the way, because that happens also, that's another bizarre response. They'll come back and say that your inquiries are just a factual record. Regardless of it being a factual record, they have a responsibility to investigate to see whether or not there was permissible purpose. That was a recent federal ruling from the Ninth Circuit Court. And again, I'm not an attorney or law firm, but this is public knowledge. Ninth Circuit Court federal ruling said that it ruled in the favor of a defendant, I guess, if I'm saying that right. Anyway, ruled in the favor of the person that was suing the credit agencies because the credit agency had refused to determine whether or not the creditors had permissible purpose to repull their credit. And I think that was a very important ruling. So basically it set a precedent that if somebody has looked at your credit file, but they didn't have a signed credit application, or you hadn't at least gone online and that they've got an IP address that you applied for a credit card online cataloged, then they don't have verification or proof that they had permissible purpose to access your credit record. So you just need to be aware of those things. So if you're jotting down those notes and you haven't given up your right to sue and you're listening to me and you just got like some sort of a filing system, so you could have a box that's Equifax, you could have a box that's TransUnion, you could have a box that's Experian, you could put them all in there and you could just keep them chronologically. That's up to you. It's however you want to keep your files. The thing that I wouldn't do is I would not just put those in file 13, so I wouldn't just throw those away. Plus, you're also putting personal information, so if you are going to ignore my advice and you are going to throw them away, at least shred it. So just kind of keep that in mind. So here's some interesting things that I'm bringing up from this. The comments that we get back whenever we give them these answers about their credit agency mail shock and what to do with all the mail that they're receiving is that oftentimes they're saying, you know what, wow, I had no idea that I'm going to get this much mail because I've actually used a credit repair service before, and it was either I didn't hardly get anything, or B, I didn't get anything at all, which means that they just stole your money. They just took your money and ran because they were unscrupulous. And there are bad actors out there. There are also good companies that try to do good for you. I'm not saying that they always do everything legally and legit, like they might be signing your signature to it. That's not right. They're not providing you access to being able to see your letters. That's not right. They're not giving you control to approve, edit, deny, or recreate letters yourself. That's not right. If they are lying and saying that account's not yours, that's not right. If they're saying that you're claiming you're the victim of identity theft, that's not right. Not unless those things are true and legit and you gave them proof of, that sort of thing. But most of them overreach and overstep those boundaries, and that's the stuff that they're doing. And by the way, that's probably why the credit agencies can't stand credit repair companies, is because historically they've often done those things because there are some idiots that think that that's what they have to do to get results for you or for themselves. Sometimes they'll even encourage you to go file identity theft claims that are fraudulent, to go to the police department and file claims of identity theft, and only to discover at some point in time that you lied. And that's the last thing you want to do. You do not want to file a false claim with the police department. If you do that, you could result in some jail or prison time. So no, it's not necessary. But it proves that the CreditUturn app is working whenever you get flooded with all that mail. And this is real. This is real and tangible. There's not a single person that you talk to, whether it's in the forum, in person, over the phone, however it is, you're chatting with them online through Facebook, Messenger, whatever, they're going to tell you that if you use this CreditUturn app, that it's real, that you're going to get a flood of mail, and that proves that the app is actually working for you 24/7, 365. And if you haven't tried us, you need to try the mobile app. If you are a potential partner of ours, or you're already a partner, you're an employee at a company that's a partner, you are somebody that's downloaded our app but hasn't upgraded to go ahead and unlock the full power of CreditUturn, you need to do that. I don't care if it was you downloaded it yesterday or you downloaded it 13 months ago, because where we were 13 months ago, 8 months ago, 3 months ago, 3 weeks ago is like night and day differences, because we're always constantly upgrading and doing some really cool things and adding features and improving reliability, stability, speed, access to more info. Recently, for anybody that's watching these live streams that has downloaded the app in the past and maybe hasn't upgraded, is that we have become our own credit monitoring company also. So rather than us relying on a company like, say, Identity IQ or something like that, and then trying to analyze that report, giving you limited information, having to use a third-party service, having to go out of our app to go log into their site to see where you stand, we changed all that. So you need to give us a shot. If you have not upgraded, you are missing out. Also, it's at this point in time, usually much earlier, I always like to thank our awesome partners. Whether you are watching this and you're already a partner, or if you're thinking about ways that you can improve your business and demonstrating to your marketplace that you really care about them, and you also are seeking out a way to provide a real solution to them and retain more of your leads and prospects and customers through a way that provides something tangible to everybody that's worth thousands of dollars per person to them without them having to pay credit repair fees. This is an amazing tool for you. So you need to utilize this. If you're already a partner and you're not using it enough, you need to 10x this. You need to step up your game. You need to make this a part of what you're doing, especially right now where you don't have hardly any traffic in your showroom because of the dang coronavirus that's going on. And or the next thing that happens, whether it's political unrest or whether it's another medical situation or whatever it is, you need to be utilizing this so that you're insulating yourself from days where you just don't have traffic. Plus, there are a lot of other benefits in there, and I'm not going to bore everybody to tears about the partner stuff. If you're a potential partner, you need to go to CreditUturn.com/partners, or you could go to 180daysonus.com. 180daysonus.com, and that will take you straight to that same page, but it will also get you a coupon code that allows you to unlock the CreditUturn platform and to be able to use that as a business. That is not for individuals, that's just for businesses to use. So if you're not using the account, we'll just shut off access to it, because we're also aware that if you're an individual watching this and you're the funnel hacker out there, you're just going to go have to try to do all this on your own. And by the way, part of our terms of service is that you agree not to reverse engineer us, number one. Second of all, you agree not to promise specific results to your clients and or to guarantee specific score improvements. There are countless instances of people receiving phenomenal results, but if there's ever any third-party credit agency or person or the credit expert out there that guarantees you that they're going to get your bankruptcy deleted or guarantees you that they're going to be able to raise your credit scores 100 points in 30 days, run. As much as that sounds great and awesome to you, run. They cannot guarantee it. Could they potentially get you that result? The same as I can. and maybe not the same as I can because we do an awful lot for our clients. We're really smart about the way that we help you go about what you're doing. We just provide all the automation to you. So on that note, our awesome partners often make huge investments in their communities, such as a car dealer that will turn around and easily plunk down a couple $1 million or $20 million or more. And don't be hating on the rich people. It's just that they had enough money that they could turn around and put up a bunch of cars in the building and the systems and processes and service department, parts department, so that you've got great transportation, you've got great options. Is every dealer always going to provide you with an incredible experience? No, but our awesome partners typically do provide you with a better experience than somebody that's not a CreditUturn partner, just because they get that people have either had errors in their credit report or there are inaccuracies and incompleteness and unverifiable items in credit reports. And they also know that we provide you with great tips and education, even for their clients or their prospects that already have great credit. So our awesome partners, they give back to their communities. So like us, like CreditUturn, like our partners, share and follow us and our partners. Subscribe to my social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our Facebook page, and download us and rate our app. Once you unlock, again, if you're not using our credit monitoring, you need to upgrade. Such little risk. I did an episode yesterday that we're the same exact cost as MyFICO across the board, and we do so much more for you than what MyFICO does. Plus, I also gave you a tip on where you can get free FICO scores. So just upgrade, and whenever you upgrade and you unlock that and you really see the full potential of what CreditUturn is to consumers or to you as an individual, also take note, partners, because it's really powerful. If you haven't checked it out, you need to look at it as an individual. It's totally secure, 256-bit AES encrypted. We're not storing personal and private information. We're not selling, sharing, and distributing it out to third parties. But once you unlock all that power, I'm asking you to help us go viral. Rate the app. Give us that 5-star rating, because I'm going to prove to you through actions that we deserve that. And then also write a great review, because the more that you do that, the higher or the better search engine rankings that it helps us provide or helps us get. And also App Store ratings and reviews can help us rise to the top also. And we want to become the #1 credit-related app on the planet through giving you incredible credit monitoring, education and tips, providing you recommendations for products or services that you might be ready for, or that could help you save some additional money, as well as providing you a mechanism that allows you to automate your disputes and alert you if you are like if your personal info is leaked somewhere out there, your social security is leaked out there, if there's new credit inquiry, because we want to help protect your identity from theft. So engage with us, whether it's in our live streams, any chats that we do. Engage with us on our credit forum. Recommend us and help us go viral. So guys, really appreciate you hanging in here with me today. Again, I love doing these live streams with you. This was episode number 20 on March 13th, crazy year 2020. Hopefully we'll look back at this in a year or two from now and not only mark and commemorate where I'm at this point in time, but where you're at currently in your path, on your path to better credit journey, and then also just where the world's at. So I appreciate you guys. I hope that I'm able to make a super valuable, transition or change to empower you, where I can give you a phenomenal amount of information, fantastic wealth of information, but also an incredible tool that helps you make a big difference in your life, so that you can also make a big impact in your world by you having better credit and you being a better example for everyone else around you. So thank you guys, and I will see you either somewhere over the weekend or first thing on Monday. Thanks.